Hello, hello. Welcome to Midlife Mojo. I'm Lisa Dupree, and today I'm sharing why I'm competing in a bodybuilding competition at 59 years old. And let me tell you, this is not something I ever thought I'd be doing, but here I am, 10 weeks out from my first competition and stepping into a world that I honestly never imagined for myself. So, why am I doing this? For me, first and foremost, it's not about getting a perfect body or back to a younger looking version of myself. I'm not even focusing solely on appearance. That's not what I was thinking first when I decided to go for this goal. Sure, I want to see what's possible for my physique. I want to see how it's possible to change my body at this stage of my life, but it's also just so much bigger than that. I want to age powerfully, not passively. And that is really what was driving me. It also means proving to myself that I can commit to something really challenging and see it through, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels impossible sometimes, and when I really am doubting myself and my ability to follow through and get it done. I wanted to go for a really big goal that pushed me, something that really forced me to grow, forced me to confront kind of some of these self-imposed boundaries that I've had for myself. What I've been telling myself about what's possible for me to accomplish, at this stage of the game. But also to really challenge that broader social narrative about what a woman over 50 should be doing, like how she should be acting or looking, and a lot of that comes down to how we should be limiting ourselves over 50. And, honestly, to be just for real about it, like my inner voice, she can be a nasty little gremlin sometimes. And oh my goodness, she's so loud. So things that keep coming up when I started doing this is like, you can't do this. You're not possibly going to be able to accomplish this. You're going to make a fool of yourself. What are people going to say? People are going to laugh at you for even trying, right? And so when we are getting outside of our comfort zone, these things tend to come up. Maybe that some of these things sound familiar to you, or maybe you've got your inner gremlin that says something different. But a lot of the time, that little voice is just trying to keep us small. It's trying to keep us safely within the confines of what we have, found to be safe or what we think is safe or comfortable. So it's going to tell us like things that you're too old to do this, like you're already too out of shape to get to that point, or that it's too late. It's too late to do something new, something different, something a little scary, or something big and life-changing. And you know what? Like that little gremlin, that voice is just a liar. It's trying to protect us, it's trying to keep us safe. And I really have gotten to the point where I want to appreciate that, but also let it go and push past it. And, I'm training for my old lady body, not my summer body. But I'm also training to to really show up in the way I wanna show up for a long time, and at this time of the year, I've been seeing, so much in advertising and posts on social media about, like, being bikini ready or working towards your summer body, and, what about if we were just training for the body we wanna live in, like, every day? The one that's gonna carry us through the next 10, 20, or 30 years. I'm gonna go with 30 years because I'm planning to make it to at least 90, I'm training for strength. I'm training for confidence. I'm training for independence and autonomy, for the kind of body that supports the way I want to live as I age. I'm going to be someone who lifts heavy things, who is going to move with energy. I want to be someone who feels and shows up as being powerful, feeling comfortable in my skin, not just for a season, but for however many years I have left. That's how I want to show up. And maybe you're not down to train for a bodybuilding competition, or even any kind of event. But what if you started training for that future, for your future self? What if you were focused on building strength, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, so that you could show up as the boldest, strongest version of yourself now and for decades to come? And so that's why I'm sharing all this with you all, because I want you to think about kind of what maybe is that big, a little bit scary, or limiting belief shattering goal that you've been thinking about and maybe even avoiding. What's something that you've told yourself that you can't do, or that, at this point in time, you shouldn't be doing it? What's something that is exciting to you, but also seems, a little far-fetched, maybe just out of reach just a bit? Something that if you went for it, if you went all in, it would change the way that you see yourself. It doesn't have to be a competition. Maybe it could be going out and running your first 5K. It could be something like, writing that book that you've had ideas, you've jotted down notes about, but haven't actually gotten to that, first writing on the page. Could be starting a business you've dreamed about for a while, or it could be even doing something like going back to school, changing careers, whatever it is. I want you to challenge yourself to take just one small step toward it this week, because here's what I've learned. And that is, growth doesn't happen when you're in your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when you continue to listen to that inner gremlin who is keeping us confined within this safe boundaries, right? Growth doesn't happen there. And confidence isn't something that you wait to have before you get started. Confidence is something that you build by doing the things, by doing the hard things, and proving to yourself that you can do it, that you have what it takes, and that you are stronger than you think you are. So this month on Midlife Mojo, we're going to be talking more about embracing the challenges, pushing past those self-imposed limits. We're going to dig into why strength, discipline, and resilience matter more than ever after 50, and how taking on a challenge, whether it's related to weight loss, strength training, something else entirely, it can completely transform your health and confidence. But for now, I just want you to take a moment and consider what would happen if you stop letting that inner gremlin, that fear, dictate your choices. And then what's one bold move that you can make this week to challenge the stories that inner gremlin is telling you? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and it also will give you a chance to win some amazing prizes this month in celebration of the 3-year anniversary of the podcast. And so here's how you can join that giveaway. One is rate and review the podcast. So by heading on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, leave a rating and a review, and email a screenshot of that rating and review to Lisa at Lisa Dupree Coaching. Not only will this enter you into the giveaway, but it also helps more women like you find the podcast, and it helps us spread the word about what we're doing in the world. And also, 2 is answering this question on Instagram. You can DM me at Lisa Dupree Coaching and tell me what's that one bold move you're committing to this week. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to cheer you on. And I'll be choosing winners at the end of the month, so be sure to enter. You can enter multiple times. So I will see you in the next episode. Until then, get out there and keep your mojo rising.